But what I want to talk about is the way that muscle building actually works, right? So everyone's like, I'm going to go lift a bunch of weights. I got flappy skin. I'm going to do bicep curls. I'm going to do this, that, the other thing, right? It doesn't work that way. You want to think of the entire body as a whole. If you want to build muscle, we need to add lean muscle mass to your frame. The best way to do that is to hack muscle fibers. So most of you are not going to know this stuff, right? But there's essentially 4 types of muscle fibers. There's slow twitch and there's fast twitch muscle fibers. Those are the 2 main categories. People say there's 2 muscle fibers, there's 3 muscle fibers. Those people, okay? So there's slow and fast twitch. Yes, 2 main categories of muscle fibers, but there are technically 4 muscle fibers. There's 1 type of slow twitch muscle fiber. Then there are 3 different types of fast twitch muscle fibers, okay? There's like a slow, fast twitch muscle fiber, if that makes any sense. There's like an intermediate, and there's a fast twitch muscle fibers, right? These fast twitch muscle fibers are hands down your most powerful, but it's not based on power. These designations are spelled out based on how quickly they fatigue, right? So slow twitch, intermediate twitch, fast twitch, all these things. It's how quickly these muscles fatigue, okay? So if your ultimate goal is hypertrophy, I want you to keep this in mind. Most of you have no idea what fast twitch muscle work is like. You literally have no idea. I said this in last week's AMA and I was like, I'm going to get killed for this. I was like, most women don't know what working hard in the gym actually is. And I want to clarify that because they know what working hard is. They don't know what working hard with benefit is, as shitty as that sounds. Most of you have never gotten outside of working slow twitch muscle fibers. Now, if you're not working fast twitch muscle fibers, you're not improving anything. Literally 0 benefit. All the P90X nonsense horse shit you've done in your living room, 0 benefit. That's why you don't get long-term lasting results from any of this stuff. You're only working slow twitch muscle fibers because your slow twitch muscle fibers try to take over everything. And then when they fatigue, you might tap into your slower twitch, fast twitch muscle fibers. I know this is confusing, but the slowest of the 3 fast twitch muscle fibers, that might take over for a second. In the milliseconds that fast twitch muscle fiber takes over, your slow muscle fibers recover and retake over. So you never touch the final 2 fast twitch muscle fibers. I want to be clear with you guys on something. If you don't activate your fast twitch muscle fibers, you're not getting stronger, you're not building muscle, you're not increasing endurance, you're literally doing nothing. It's a wasted workout. The only thing you're doing is burning calories, which is a bad idea for human survival. We talk about the optimal foraging strategy, right? Like human beings are genetically wired to burn the least amount of calories while consuming the most amount of calories. That is how we are genetically wired to operate. You see? Yeah, John, we're going to talk about kettlebells here in a second. So I want you to understand, if the goal is hypertrophy, now again, kettlebells, not necessarily fantastic for muscle hypertrophy. You can get strong as shit. You can build muscle density. But if we're talking about hypertrophy, literally increasing the size of the muscle cells, right? If we want to do that, the best way to do it is full-blown muscle fatigue and then utilizing glucose, the depletion and replenishment of muscle glycogen, okay? So this is why you guys have probably seen me doing videos of me doing something like an ARX workout. So look up ARX training. There's a Facebook video of me doing it. There's a great book called Body by Science that covers all this. This is time under tension training. So I want to be clear about something. If you choose a weight, if you have a really light weight, this doesn't work. No matter how much time you take, no matter how much time under tension, whatever. If you have too light of a weight, the slow twitch muscle fibers will fatigue. Your first round of fast twitch muscle fibers will take over. The slow twitch muscle fibers will recover and retake over. Vicious cycle. You might work 2 sets of muscle fibers. You're never going to get 4, right? If the weight is too heavy, you're talking 1 rep max. You guys see my Instagram videos. When do you ever see me post a 1 rep max on any lift ever? Never. I posted a video yesterday. I deadlifted 5 reps of 340 pounds on deadlift, right? You will never see me post a 1 rep max video. I did it once, maybe well over a year ago. God, it might be 3 years ago now. I don't even remember. But I did a 425 pound deadlift before I knew better, you know? So I don't do 1 rep maxes anymore. I won't do it. So I want you to understand why. Because the benefit, what's the benefit? The benefit is only ego. You didn't improve anything by performing a 1 rep max. Because if you perform a 1 or 2 rep max, you're activating, it's such an intense lift that all your muscle fibers activate all at once and then fail, complete exhaustion. That's why you can't get the barbell up for another rep. You literally, it's complete failure, right? Your muscles don't have a chance to recover, right? So what's the sweet spot for hypertrophy? Getting bigger muscles, right? What's the sweet spot for building bigger muscles? Well, you need the perfect amount of weight and the perfect amount of time under tension, somewhere between 45 to 90 seconds per set, one set at a time, and a big compound move like a leg press or something like that, right? So what happens is you have the perfect amount of weight, you sequentially exhaust these muscle fibers. You go through 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of muscle fibers. Slow twitch gets exhausted. The next set of fast twitch kicks in. That gets exhausted. The next set of fast twitch kicks in. That gets exhausted. The next set of fast twitch kicks in. That gets exhausted. Now, by that 90-second point, the weight should be heavy enough that by 90 seconds, you fail. You literally fail. And that's why you have to do this on machines. Because if you just fail, it can be quite dangerous. So you have to do this with like Nautilus equipment is the best you can do for this stuff, right? But you completely fail. You have exhausted all muscle fibers completely. Complete failure. You have dumped muscle glycogen completely out of these things. You got nothing left. This is why the workouts take less than 20 minutes, because you're going to do a couple exercises per workout with this complete and utter muscle exhaustion. All 4 muscle fiber types are completely exhausted. I'm going to promise you something right now. If you've never done this and you go do this correctly, it's going to be some of the most intense pain you will ever feel in your life. This is why people don't want to do it. It's very difficult to get people to buy a membership to places like ARX training because it's fucking hell. Like people like my dad, I posted a video on my dad, he shoulder pressed ARX 338 pounds, right? He's literally in agony. It's agony. Right? It's insane, you guys. It's not fun, but it's about the most effective thing you can possibly do for your muscles. And now, if you're doing something like an ARX or a Body by Science or whatever, you're going to get intense muscle hypertrophy if the nutrition is right. So I wrote an article about this called The Window of Gains. This was one of the first articles I ever got published in a magazine. This was in Fitness RX for Men magazine. It was called The Window of Gains, How Donuts Can Help You Grow, because I like to make a little clickbaity title, right? The Window of Gains, How Donuts Can Help You Grow. So Donnie in the Academy posted something about glucose disposal, how having more muscle means you can take in more glucose, but I don't want you to look at it that way. What I want you to look at it as is glycogen depletion plus glycogen replenishment equals muscle hypertrophy, right? So if you do this intense muscle fatiguing, muscle exhaustion thing, now to keep in mind, like if you do this version of a leg press, you should not do that more than once per week. One set, once per week. You need 7 to 10 days to recover from this. It's so intense. Because when would this ever actually happen in nature? It doesn't really happen. You know, even sprints don't deplete you like this. It's ridiculous, right? There's just not much like this in nature that's going to do that. Our bodies don't know how to adapt to this. It's like, holy shit, right? You need 7 to 10 days of recovery for this. So what I do with this mass gains thing is I do these types of workouts and then I take advantage of that post-workout window. I have about 90 minutes post-workout where any carbohydrates I dump in my system are going to get sucked right back up into muscle cells. Because your muscle cells become incredibly insulin sensitive. Your body wants muscle glycogen to be stored. Why? It stores glycogen in the muscles so that when a lion comes out of a cave and starts chasing you, you can sprint even if you don't have any food in your system. It has that stored energy source. That's what muscle glycogen is for, emergency situations, right? So we're hacking the system for hypertrophy. We blast out all these muscle fibers, and then I could eat a pound of of white rice if I want to. I don't eat brown rice. That was a slip of the tongue, right? Or I could eat a bunch of sweet potatoes or whatever, right? Preferably whole food carbohydrates. Don't go eat a Hershey's bar, you know? But the carbohydrates that go in your system, depending on the size of the person, now The Rock probably stores 1,000 grams of muscle glycogen. I probably store like 400 grams of muscle glycogen. So if I do a full body workout, like the Big 5 workout on ARX or the Big 5 workout Body by Science, to complete muscle exhaustion, I've hit every single muscle in my body. I can dump 400 grams of carbohydrates into my system and my muscle cells are going to uptake it. I'm not going to store body fat. The glucose uptake is going to happen in the muscle cells because they're more insulin. We're hacking the system, everybody. How many of your trainers understand this? You can quiz them on it if you want to. Do you think the cute little Beachbody personality that's running around doing jumping jacks with you has any idea what I'm talking about right now? This is just biochemistry, everybody. This is why all of my respect goes to biochemists. Why was I excited to have Rob Wolf on the episode, on the podcast today? Because he's a biochemist. He's a biochemist. And that's what I study. I love biochemistry. The reason I can hack your body and get you results like you've never seen in your life, life-changing results that you worked for 4 decades to get and you never get until you get to me, is because I concentrate solely on biochemistry. No gimmicks, no bullshit. Biochemistry. How does this work in your body? That's it.